Welcome to part 7 of my campervan conversion series. In this video I'll be finishing off carpet lining the walls of our van. If you haven't seen the previous videos where we carpet line the doors, feel free to check that one out first. We'll be starting with the upper section here and then move on to the ply lining, before finishing off with the rear archway. We did end up having to order a second roll of carpet to finish the job. I'll leave a link to that and all the other items we used in the description below. To get started, we used one of the remaining pieces of carpet to do the upper section above the door. This was a quick and easy job, with the only tricky bit being this piece of metal that sticks out from the wall. We had to make a few cuts so the material could stretch around the edges, and then glued it down with the adhesive spray. Before we got started with the second leftover piece of carpet, I removed some of the excess insulation. Most of this will end up being covered up by the ply lining, but it's better to cover more than needed so there won't be any visible gaps. When it was time to join the two pieces, we overlapped them and then cut them with a fresh blade. We then stuck the first piece down and then carefully lined up the second one after that. Here's what it looked like when it was done. Once that section was stuck down, I went round and trimmed off the excess material, before reinstalling the rubber trim. To finish off the job, I tucked in the loose carpet with a trim removal tool. After removing this piece of trim, the process was the same as on the other side, other than having to work around the wires that run along the side of the roof, after deciding that removing them would be too much of a hassle. This was also the point where the first roll of carpet had run out. I decided to only carpet one of the larger side panels. The carpeted side will be next to the bed, and we'll be painting the other one in the next video. I did this so there wouldn't be carpet next to the stove while I was cooking inside of the van, and the painted side should make the space look a bit brighter as well. I cut out a rough shape and clamped down a chipped piece on the plywood, before taking it outside to sand the edges down. Here's the chipped edge after it had been sanded down. We sprayed the first section and rolled the carpet up, and then worked our way down trying to avoid making any creases. When the front was done, we marked the screw holes. After that, we flipped it over and made some cuts so the edges could be tucked around more easily. This side didn't need to be perfect, as long as the edges looked clean. Larger folds would have kept the panel away from the wall, so we cut off any excess material. And once all the relief cuts were made, we could glue it down. Then the final part of the van that needed carpeting was the back arch. We taped over the light and removed two pieces of trim. We also covered the fastening points for the door locks and undone a cable that runs along the back of the van so we could reach the walls more easily. We ended up having to make one cut in the top corner, and we used the same method as earlier when we joined the two pieces together. Once it was all stuck down, we cut off the excess material and reinstalled the trim and rubber seals. The final step was screwing in the carpeted ply lining. It was difficult getting through the adhesive once it had dried, so I cut out the sections that were covered on the back. Obviously, it would have been easier to have done this before gluing it down. After some trial and error, we found it easiest to screw into the edge next to the side door, as it was easier to find the screw holes. And after we found the second one, the others lined up more easily. Before we screwed the panel in, we realised part of the wall would still be visible, so we made a flap so it could fit while the door was closed, while also covering the insulation that's inside the wall. Finding the final screw hole was a little bit tricky, so I used a longer screw to find the right angle before leaning on the wood to get it closer and then screwing it in. And with this final panel sorted, the carpet was done. In the next video, we'll be painting and reinstalling the rest of the ply lining. I'll leave a link to all the items used in the description below, along with written instructions. Thank you for watching.